This is a world gone mad. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf, and welcome to the Friday edition, the part of the week where later in my podcast I bring you news from the edge of sanity. I try to lighten the load a little before you head into the weekend. News from the edge of sanity, the kind of stories that make you pause mid-coffee and say, you've got to be kidding me. But first, let's talk about the real news stories from the last 48 hours, which sometimes rival the bizarre ones. Okay, everyone, here we go. Comey, Benjamin Netanyahu, Bondi, government shutdown, craziness, stupidity, and more stupidity from Trump and MAGA. I'm thoroughly convinced, listeners, that every day is a WTF episode, not just my WTF Wednesdays. Multiple lunatic rabbits scrambling down the rabbit hole is how I describe the Republicans and Trump. Okay, first up, James Comey, the FBI director, who managed to make everyone in America hate him at some point, is now indicted. Federal charges. And Donald Trump is celebrating like he just won a lifetime supply of Big Macs. Trump insists this is about justice. Please, Donald's definition of justice is like Judge Judy with a vendetta. Okay, today it's Comey. Tomorrow it could be judges, journalists, or maybe the kid in your neighborhood who dared to write democracy in a history essay. This is a president using the Justice Department like it is a demolition derby. The car is on fire, the crowd is screaming, and Trump is the guy grinning behind the wheel holding a sledgehammer. And the hypocrisy is almost art. The man who screamed witch hunt for years is now running one. He yelled witch hunt so much in 2017, you half expected Trump to show up in Salem with a pitchfork. Now, Trump is gleefully tossing names into his own cauldron and calling it justice. But here's the truth. Justice is not his brand to slap on a baseball cap. Revenge is not the same as law. Chaos is not leadership. And the only way to stop this circus is not despair, it's participation. Show up, vote, speak out. Do not shrug, listeners, because nothing terrorizes Trump more than being held accountable, not by enemies, but by ordinary people who refuse to let Donald turn democracy into a freak show. Okay, Benjamin Netanyahu took the stage at the United Nations, declared that Israel must finish the job in Gaza. And as he launched into that speech, more than 100 diplomats from over 50 countries stood up and walked out. Picture that. A global walkout mid-speech. Not boos, not chants, just a quiet thud of chairs as the world said, nope. Netanyahu wanted to project defiance. What he got was a mostly empty room. Now, let's be honest. That is not strength. That is the international version of everyone muting you on a Zoom meeting. You can keep talking, but no one is listening. And here's where it gets dangerous. Israel is doubling down. Netanyahu is rejecting any talk of a Palestinian state and insisting the military campaign must continue. But if your allies are already heading for the door, what happens when they stop walking back in? The symbolism here is brutal. The United Nations is supposed to be the place where world leaders at least pretend to get along. Instead, it turned into a live-action protest march against Netanyahu. No speeches, no fireworks, just silence. And that silence was louder than anything Netanyahu said into the microphone. So the image is clear to us. Netanyahu at the podium, defiant, rows of empty seats staring back at him, and the world sending one message without saying a single word. We are done listening to you. I just wish the rest of the world would feel the same way about Donald Trump. And speaking of Donnie Boy, Donnie just slapped, here we go again, new tariffs on everything. That's right, new tariffs on everything. From pharmaceuticals to furniture, like he's Oprah handing out free cars. You get a tariff, you get a tariff. Everybody gets a tariff. Except in this episode of The Price is Wrong, the price is higher costs for you and me. The big one is a 100% tariff on branded drugs. Think about that. Every pill with a shiny name from overseas just doubled in price. Unless, here we go, the company agrees to build a factory in the United States. Trump calls it tough on Big Pharma. What it really means is your prescription bill is about to look like the receipt from a Vegas buffet where you accidentally ordered the lobster for the whole table. It doesn't stop there. 50% on kitchen cabinets, 30% on upholstered furniture, 25% on heavy trucks built abroad. Congratulations, America. Even your sofa is now a national security threat. Trump sells this as protecting American jobs. But the math says otherwise. When you double the cost of medicine and you jack up the price of furniture, you're not punishing China. You're punishing your grandmother who just wants her arthritis pills and a recliner that does not bankrupt her. Here's the absurd part. Trump is calling this America First, while America is the one footing the bill. The drug companies will be fine. The cabinet makers will be fine. The sofa industry will survive. The people who will not be fine are the ones who need insulin and a couch that does not require a second mortgage. So yes, the tariffs sound tough. But tough on who? Because if the scoreboard says China 0, America 0, and your wallet negative $1,000, then maybe the game is rigged. Hey, Donald is getting more unhinged each and every day. One would expect his head to explode any moment. All right, the Trump White House is now telling federal agencies to prepare for mass firings if the government shuts down. Not furloughs, permanent layoffs. This is like saying the check engine light came on, so instead of fixing it, we're just going to drive the car off a cliff. Here's the kicker. Before the first pink slip is even printed, Trump is already blaming, everyone with me, the Democrats. He says if workers lose their jobs, it will be the Democrats' fault. That's freaking absurd. Donald is the one shutting the doors. He's the one swinging the axe, but Donald wants you to believe Democrats are sneaking in at night with the pink slips. You know, it's like tossing a banana peel on the floor, slipping on it yourself, and then suing the janitor. This is not abstract budget talk. These are real people who keep your food safe, your Social Security checks moving, your VA hospitals running, your planes in the air. Fire them, and daily life collapses. Yet Trump will stand at the podium with a straight face and say, look what Democrats did. Donald lights the fuse, Donald runs the fireworks show, and then Donald blames the neighbors for the explosion. And that's his playbook. Manufacture chaos, then point the finger. Trump is treating the government like a demolition derby where he crashes the car, blames Democrats for the wreck, and then sells tickets for the replay. Trump is dangling workers like props in a reality show cliffhanger just so he can deliver the line, Democrats made me do it. So yes, this shutdown threat is serious, but the punchline is that the chaos is Trump's. The firings are his. The damage to be is his. And he's trying to build the other party for the wreckage. That's not strength. That's lunacy. And the only way to shut it down for good is at the ballot box. Okay, let's get away from stupidity and lunacy and Trump and his world of destruction. It's time for News from the Edge of Sanity, where I talk about stupidity, lunacy, and bizarre, crazy stories that actually happen. Wow, sounds very familiar, doesn't it? Okay, imagine you're on a flight from Charlotte to Las Vegas. You have your pretzels, your ginger ale. Maybe you're thinking about hitting a slot machine the second you land. And then one passenger decides today is audition day for America's craziest person in the sky. She is pacing the aisles, screaming at crew, threatening flight attendants. At one point, she actually is bragging that she once tried to poison her father. Okay, that is the point where everyone else on the plane is looking around like, so who's actually in charge here? Because last we checked, there's no federal marshal hiding in row 22. What do you do with a passenger like this at 30,000 feet? You cannot exactly pull them over and let them out. You can't throw her in the overhead bin because there are already too many roller bags up there. You cannot lock her in the bathroom because half the plane is already waiting in line. So the crew goes full DIY justice. Forget law enforcement. Forget security protocols. Out come the zip ties. Out comes the duct tape. And this woman is not just buckled in. She's gift wrapped. Arms pinned, mouth muffled, strapped tighter than a mattress in the back of a U-Haul. Imagine looking across the aisle and seeing a fellow passenger shrink-wrapped to seat 14C like a Costco sample nobody asked for. Flight attendants are walking by with drink carts like nothing is happening. Peanuts, pretzels, Diet Coke. Oh, and ignore the hostage situation in seat 14. You know it's bad when a plane full of strangers agrees that the safest option is to tape a grown adult to upholstery. This is where we're at 2025. The airlines do not just serve drinks and peanuts. They now provide arts and crafts, seatbelt extension, vomit bag, and duct tape. Next time you board a flight, forget the safety card. The real emergency instructions are one roll of duct tape away. Okay, the State Fair of Texas has opened its gates again. You know what that means? Fried everything, oversized everything, and food creations that make cardiologists rub their hands together like Bond villains. This is not just a fair. This is where culinary restraint comes to die. You walk through the gates, you are hit with smells of frying oil, sugar, bacon, and whatever brave scientist decided to dunk a Twinkie in batter. Every year there is a competition to see who can create the most ridiculous dish at the fair. Fried butter, fried Coke, fried bubble gum. It is less about eating and more about testing how far the human digestive system can be pushed before it files for bankruptcy. And this year, they unveiled the masterpiece. It's called the UFO Smashburger. Already that sounds like a stunt show, not lunch. I should get my friend Bill from Tales from South Florida podcast to review this dish. Picture a flying saucer-shaped sandwich stacked with beef, chicken, steak, and vegetables. But the real twist is how you eat it. Alongside the burger, they hand you plastic syringes filled with sauces. Yes, syringes. You're not dipping fries or squeezing a packet. You are literally injecting your dinner like it is insulin. So now you're standing at the fair surrounded by screaming kids and Ferris wheels while jamming barbecue sauce into a UFO burger like you're giving it a flu shot. Somewhere a doctor is weeping into his clipboard. This is not food. This is performance art. It's half snack, half medical procedure. Forget blue ribbon pies. The State Fair of Texas now gives you the chance to pretend you are a burger surgeon. Scalpel, syringe, ketchup, mustard. Close 'em up, nurse. Patient did not survive, but at least it was delicious. In Texas, the police still ride horses, not just for parades, not just for photo ops, but for actual patrols. So picture this: the sun beating down, the clop of hooves on the pavement, and an officer towering over you on horseback asking questions. Already that feels like something out of a Western reboot. Now the officer is talking to a man during a routine check. Nothing dramatic yet, just casual conversation, and then the cop decides to crack a joke. He looks at this man and says, and I quote, "I have a narcotics-smelling horse right here." Now most of us would laugh. Some might raise an eyebrow, maybe even ask, "Wait, horses can do that?" But this guy that the cop said this comment to, "I have a narcotics-smelling horse right here." This guy does not stop to ask anything. He does not chuckle. He does not call the officer crazy. He does not even think for a second. He goes straight to panic mode. And in that split second, the man takes off running, sprinting away like the horse really is some kind of giant drug-sniffing bloodhound in cowboy boots. Forget reason, forget logic. The man is gone. The body cam footage catches it all. The horse just stands there chewing. The officer is half stunned, half amused, and the suspect is sprinting like he has just been caught by a psychic pony with X-ray vision. Spoiler alert, the man does not make it far. He is chased down and arrested, and the best part is the punchline never changes. Somewhere in the official report is a line about a narcotics-smelling horse and a suspect who bolted because he believed it. This is not law enforcement. This is sketch comedy. Picture Key West, the island vibe. Tourists with pina coladas, chickens crossing the road, scooters buzzing by. It is paradise with a Jimmy Buffett soundtrack. Now, drop a little chaos into the mix. Police get a call about a woman in a white SUV waving a gun and shouting about a stolen phone. People scatter. Imagine trying to enjoy your frozen margarita while somebody is pacing the street claiming thieves are everywhere. The Florida Keys are accustomed to weird, but this is next level. Officers arrive, and the lady is furious, pointing, yelling, insisting her phone has been stolen. To her, this is a full-scale heist. She is the victim. She is ready for war over it. You can almost hear her shouting, "Find my phone or else." Now this is the moment where normal person might stop and think, maybe retrace a few steps. Not this lady. She goes straight to brandishing a firearm, threatening people in broad daylight like she is starring in the world's worst remake of CSI, Key West. And then comes the reveal. And after all the drama, after the police presence, after the neighbors terrified, where was the missing phone? Sitting quietly on the floor mat of her own car. She was arrested on multiple charges. Her phone was returned to its rightful owner, which, in case anyone forgot, was her. And somewhere, Jimmy Buffett is looking down thinking, this is not wasting away in Margaritaville. This is just wasting everybody's time. That was your news from the edge of sanity, now a regular segment on my Fridays. A friendly reminder that while the headlines are terrifying, the sidelines are completely unhinged. I'm not saying reality is upside down, but I just watched common sense use Google Maps, miss 3 exits, and crash through a Waffle House. Now, usually this is the place where I give out the email or phone number, but the truth is, not many of you, the listeners, are using it, and that's fine. The show is still here, so am I, if you ever wanted to reach me. This has been A World Gone Mad. I'm Jeff Allen Wolf. I'll be back Monday, because someone has to say the shit that no one else will. And apparently, that job's mine. Until then, Wolfpack listeners, stay skeptical, stay focused, and most of all, stay hopeful.